Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Unpontificated. And on this episode, I really wanted to talk about the Carney majority that really we all believe is coming. There's going to be three by-elections coming up soon this month. And I just truly believe that two for sure are going to go liberal. One, the one in Terrebonne, may go to the bloc, but there's increased belief that certainly even that one in Terrebonne in Quebec will go liberal as well. In case they won the three, they'll have a reasonable majority in government, which means that we will not be going to an election at least till 2029. There's also a belief that more floor crossers may come, which will give them even a stronger majority of government. And so there's a bit of an unease here in Canada for many, many people. And there's a reason for that. I want to kind of talk about, is it really justified? Should Canada feel uneasy? Should we be questioning whether or not a liberal majority is a good thing for Canada? And I think there is a really good reason why. So why are we feeling this way? Why are Canadians feeling a bit uneasy with a majority liberal government pending? We've had a liberal government for 11 years. We have the 10 Trudeau years. Now we've got Carney. We've had him for a year, and not much has changed. Food prices are still high. Housing still feels out of reach for young Canadians. The job growth has been inconsistent. We had a shrinking of our GDP in the last quarter, the only country in the G7. And we just feel there's a certain feeling that we're not moving forward as a nation. We're not moving forward as a people. Like individuals don't feel like they're better off now than they were even a year ago with Mark Carney. So that does something to the nation. It makes us feel uneasy. Like at least with a minority government, there is a sense that the government can be held to account. They can't just push through agendas that we disagree with. With a majority government, if this country can push through its agendas like the 2015 majority government that Trudeau had, and he just pushed through his stuff. He said he was going to have a small deficit. I think he said 10 billion, and it just ballooned throughout the years, all the deficits that he had. Finishing off with a $43 billion deficit that Chrystia Freeland was going to unleash on us. Of course, Mark Carney has just increased that to even further. And if he gets a majority, will that go even further still? That's got to put an unease in the Canadian government, in the Canadian populace, people. Yeah, last quarter, our economy shrank. Is that a sign? Should we be concerned? I think economies do go in cycles. You can have a shrink here, a growth there, and this is just one quarter where it shrank. The concern is it was the only country in the G7 that shrank. This is the concern, and that's why we're uneasy. We'll see what happens in the second quarter, but it's just not a good sign. And the question is, do we have a plan to reverse the course? Is Mark Carney putting forward a plan where we're going to increase productivity, where we're going to grow our economy, right? Where opportunities, for Canadians to get back to work are happening. Because we're seeing the other thing that happened is unemployment went up. People are losing their jobs. And that's why we're not seeing a plan. We're not seeing a plan, at least, well, let me put it like this. There is a plan, but the plan isn't working. How's that? We're not seeing a plan that's working. So again, the point of this particular program right now is, are we justified in being concerned that the Liberal government may get a majority? And I think yes. If you agree, please comment, please like and subscribe as well. So the point is, we feel like we're walking a tightrope as citizens of this country, right? Another reason of concern is there doesn't seem to be anything moving forward with the US. Now, I agree. A lot of discussions go on behind doors. We're not privy to everything that's going on at all. And but it doesn't look, Canadians, at least it has to look like something's going on for us to have confidence, to us to feel confident about that our government is working for us. What we're seeing is the government working, certainly. Carney is traveling. He's done a lot of traveling. His appearances in the House of Parliament is almost the lowest. I think it's even lower than Michael Ignatieff when Jack Layton called him out in that election in 2011, I believe it is. But he's out traveling. He's going from country, from pillar to post, to try and boost, to diversify our trade. I agree with trade diversification. I think this contrasts, though, with not talking to the US, at least it doesn't look that way, that he's talking much to them. And there's a much fanfare about the talking with China. I mean, Champlain and his group went to China, and there was people on the ground there. If LeBlanc and Weber is talking to the US, we're not seeing much fanfare on that side of things. So if we're going to boost our trade with China, and of course this whole debacle with Michael Ma about forced labor, him not actually saying that there is forced labor in China, is again making people uneasy that we're not standing up to China, then we have reason to be concerned. We have reason to be concerned about a liberal majority. Don't forget that when China's not an ally like the US is. 75% of our exports go to US. 3.6% go to China. It's not much. But it's a huge market. And we want to increase it, okay. But we have to keep our eyes open. Don't forget, when things don't go China's way, we have them doing things like holding on to the two Michaels, like increasing tariffs on product going to China. These are the kind of things that China does. So perception matters, right? If Canadians believe that we're moving away from our strongest ally, that creates uncertainty. And uncertainty weakens confidence. I certainly agree that we need to diversify our economy, diversify our trade. It's a good thing to do so. And I also agree that diversification doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take time. It definitely is. But we need to feel that something is happening. We need to know that something's happening, that things aren't getting worse. And to us, it seems like it is. You can't throw out this, it's going to get worse before it gets better. That doesn't work for Canadians. What are you doing for me now? Right? And it just doesn't look like things are getting better. Economy shrinking, unemployment going up, people losing jobs, grocery prices increasing, affordability crisis. What do you want us to do? Why, with that very reason, liberal majority makes me nervous. Makes me nervous. I mean, why do governments want majority? Right? Governments want majority because they want power. They want to move their agenda through. No government says they prefer a minority. Of course not. It's about power. It's about the ability to just, to get more of their people in parliament, in committees, so that these committees can just, push the agenda through. That's what they want. So when we're nervous about majorities, it's because we're nervous about the party and that level of authority for that party. Sometimes we vote for majorities. We did in 2011. Stephen Harper got his majority. Of course, the NDP did really well. Stephen Harper got his majority, and that was voted for. And but in this case, we voted for a minority. That's what we voted for. And Carney's going to get his majority through floor crossings and through these by-elections. Fine, but the reason we're uneasy is because we didn't vote for this, at least not in the last election. And we don't trust this government with this level of authority. We don't trust this government with this level of power, right? Because a majority government means control of parliament, ability to pass legislation quickly. There's fewer barriers. There's, committees. You have the majority in committees. It's just gonna do whatever you want. If we disagree with your plan, and you can just pass it through, it makes us nervous. It makes us very nervous. Now the Liberal government, if it gets its majority, will have its power, and it'll go unchecked. It'll go unchecked. I mean, it'll appear to be checked. We have a strong opposition, but it's almost a weak opposition. Oh, sorry, it's a strong opposition, but in terms of rhetoric and all that, but what does it have the power to do, really? So really, what we are kind of going to be watching for is when this majority happens, and I believe it's going to happen, unfortunately, right? Are we going to see affordability change in a meaningful way? Are we going to see economic growth be stable and strong? Are we going to see the ties with the US, which I really think it's the strongest trading partner? Our ties with the US need to stay strong, or are we going to see an increased tie with China and a decrease with the US? That's just scary, right? And are we going to be able to see this government act with discipline, not just ambition? Because those go hand in hand. You got to be ambitious, sure, for Canada. You also got to be disciplined. Here's the deal. Are Canadians justified in being concerned? I believe yes, very much so. But I also do believe that we need to then act. If you're justified, then there's something, do what you can control. Write to your MPs, let them know, what it is that that concerns you, things you can control. And then in 2029, by all means, if things haven't changed, vote this government out. All right, guys, just remember that we're the people. The people have more power than we have more power than we think. Let's not just complain, but let's act. And Canada is still a great nation. People are still striving to come here. We still have a strong immigration, people still waiting to come into this country because we still have our freedoms. We still have good institutions, and we're still a safe country. Let's just, the only way it's going to stay that way is if we, people, act on it and hold our governments to account. Just can't keep voting in the same stuff and expecting different results. Sometimes keep doing what we're doing. People like to say Canadians vote governments out, but don't vote governments in. Well, this government just keeps doing what it's doing, and we're still getting these results. We've got to vote them out, get someone else in, see what the change can be. All right, well, what do you guys think? Comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.